while we wait, I will take a moment to introduce you and thank everybody for being here tonight. My name is Marlene, and I'm the CEO of the Ukulele Kids Club, and I'm so excited to learn Wipeout because I can't believe I don't know it yet. How is that possible? The incredible Neal Chin is with us here today, and we're so fortunate to have him as our longtime advisor at the UKC because we really want to make sure that we're celebrating and acknowledging the wonderful things that this instrument can do. So thank you all for your support, and those of you that donated, thank you so much for being here as well. And with that being said, Neal Chin, take it away.
Right. Yeah, let's get rolling here. Oh, well, thank you. I'll be here all week. Actually, for the month, I think. But anyway, aloha, folks, and welcome to our class here. Welcome to another session of our UKC Academy, where we basically are going in and learning different aspects and different perspectives of how to approach and play the ukulele. I'm sure that you folks, you are my people, as I always say, ukulele students and ukulele teachers. I even see here too, and it's absolutely lovely. But it's such a lovely community to be part of, and I absolutely love sharing with you folks the many different perspectives, especially now, right, where I feel like the internet is at our fingertips and all this information is at our fingertips. There are, quite frankly, a million different directions that we can go in if we want to. And so I hope to explore today a certain perspective with you. And I hope to, of course, by that, we'll get to learn this wonderful song, Wipeout. Yeah? Now, just a couple of real quick things before we do get started. Well, actually, just really one thing. Yeah, I just have one basic rule that I have for my classes, right? And this is definitely a holdover from one of my instructors, Mr. Rama Camarillo. It really kind of helped me get started. But actually, on the first day of class, what he did is he wrote down 3 rules on the board. I'm not going to lie, forget the first one. But the second one was open your mouth when you sing, which was kind of his joke to say, everybody make sure your singing is louder than your ukulele, so we can hear you. But more importantly, number 3, he wrote NBS on the board, which I take to heart till today. Yeah, and NBS stands for no be shame. Of course, in pidgin English a little bit, but no be shame. Okay, and basically what that means is to extend that a little bit, right? Is I don't want you to be afraid of what we are doing today, let alone yourself. Okay, so please take chances as we try to grab notes and try to grab chords. I want you to full-heartedly grab it, even if that results in a couple of funky notes, even if that results in less than ideal tone, whatever the case is. The best way to, I feel like, move forward and things like that is to make those jumps. The other analogy I always like to make, it's like you're swinging from vine to vine in the canopy. Yeah? When you swing from one vine to another, if you keep holding on to the previous vine, you're not going to go anywhere. You have to let go. And in that, there is a moment where you are suspended in air, and it feels almost like you're falling. Yeah? Well, granted, I haven't swung from vine to vine in the canopy before, but I can only imagine that would be the case. So when you find yourself in that moment where you feel a little bit lost, or there's a good chance that you're swinging and you're almost there. So keep going and sit with that feeling. That's what I would highly recommend. On that note, as we go through things today, it's a short class and there's a ton of material that I want to go through here today with you folks. So I'm going to move by pretty quickly today. So the thing here that I want you to remember, is that don't worry about mastering the piece today. Yeah. If your fingers don't want to play the whole entire thing, then don't. Yeah. Play what you can. And what I would recommend is grab the core concepts. Yeah. Because a lot of the progress that we make when learning an instrument or any type of new skill comes with the day-to-day follow-up and action after the fact. Yeah. So please, point being is like, I also don't want you to stress out and worry if you can't pick Wipeout, because I mean, first of all, Wipeout is not known to be a ballad, right? It's not known to be a slow tune. It's quite a fast song, right? And so since our fingers might be catching up to our brain a little bit, please, please, please be patient with yourself. Yeah? All right. On that note, what we're going to do here is I'm going to go through little sections of the song, and again, just in the kind of the interest of time here, what we'll do is that after I get through a section, I'm going to kind of open up the floor for questions. Yeah. And please feel free to ask questions if that's in the chat or if that's raising your hand, so to say, in the Zoom feed here. Yeah. And then we'll try to get to as many questions as we can. Okay. All righty. On that note, does your ukulele sound tuned? If you have not tuned your ukulele yet, let's take a moment to tune your instrument. And if you don't have a tuner, that's okay too. All right? It should sound roughly like this. And you know, quite frankly, for today, we're mostly going to be using the E string and the A string. Okay? Alrighty. So, ukulele students. Actually, you know what? Before we get started, let me play for you the song a little bit. Okay? I'm just going to kind of give you just like a little demo of it. And, you know, I will mention, it sounds really nice with a friend. But I'll play it by myself and we'll hear what it sounds like. Okay, just a little bit of the tune. Oh, thank you. I like the fingers. I like that. I like the princess way. I like the princess too. But alrighty, let's get cracking, folks. Let's get cracking. Let's dig into Wipeout here. Okay. Now, again, right, there are many ways to the top of the mountain, but one thing that I like to do here to kind of get started with a tune is you want to just kind of lay out like a general game plan. Not necessary, but I think it does help for a lot of things, right? And in this case, what we're going to look at first is we're going to look at the form of the song. Yeah. And one thing to kind of mention here is that when we're looking at the form of a tune is that that is a sample. It is an example. And yes, don't get me wrong, when you know, think of a blues or when we think of something like Wipeout, you know, there's a particular way that we hear it, but the sky is always the limit, right? So keep that in mind too. But the form of the song is called the 12-bar blues. Yeah, this is a wonderful form of music and it has been used countless times, I feel like, with lots of great tunes, all ranging, of course, from blues itself to rock and roll to jazz. And of course, again, the sky is the limit, right? So keep those doors open. But if you are not familiar with the 12-bar blues, I'm just going to do a real quick explanation of the form. And let's take a look, shall we? Wrong one. You don't want to see my elbow there. You want to see this. So if you can go ahead and just take a moment to look at that. This right here is effectively the 12-bar blues. Yeah. Now, just a quick terminology, you know, bar is a slang in music for measure. And so another way to think of that is that this is a 12-measure blues. And I personally really like working with charts like this. Yes, yeah, please do make sure that the speaker setting is on for sure. So you can really see it. If not, it gets pretty small. But basically how this is going to kind of work out, right, is that each one of these boxes here, this is what we call a box chart. That's why. Here, let's get a nice color. We'll go with red. Each one of these boxes is a measure. And for this particular song, how we're going to think about it is that each one of these boxes is going to be 4 beats. All right? So if we take a look at the first line of the song, and what that is going to be is the first 4 bars or the first 4 measures of the song, all right? This is a great place to start. It's a ton of the A7 chord. quite frankly, it's actually like 4 measures here. Okay. Now, if we were doing that, let me actually do this really quick. If you are not familiar with A7, definitely no worries. That is probably why you are here, right? Now, when we're making A7, this is a lovely chord. It's only 1 finger. Yeah, I like to use my index finger, and all that's going to be is going to be in the first block here, or the first fret, and then we're going to go up to the 3rd floor or the 3rd string. So 1, 2, 3. We go up to this spot right here. And if you have, I'm using my index finger. I think that's a great efficient way to do it, but any finger is really going to work here. Okay. Nice. Does your ukulele kind of sound like mine? Hopefully so. Okay. You know what? While we're here, before I switch us back, let's go over the other 2 chords in the 12-bar blues that we typically use, okay? Which is going to be our 4 chord and our 5 chord. So in the key of A, how that works is that's A, B, C, D. It's going to be a D chord, and A, B, C, D, E, an E chord. Okay, and in particular here, we're going to use these lovely 7s. So, ukulele students, first, I'd love you if you, one more time, grab that A7 chord, and you know what? Can we strum it 4 times together? Okay, I'm going to take a breath in, and let's do it here. We go 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. Okay. Now, we're going to go over to D7. Yeah, and there are definitely multiple ways to play all of these chords, so please keep in mind if there's a D7 that you already know, go ahead and grab it. Yeah, but if not, let's grab this lovely fella. Okay, what this is over here is again is D7, and if you're looking at the frets from our face to the ground here, what we have is 2, 0, 2, 0. Some of you may be familiar with the barred version like this. That's great too, yeah? As long as the chord's called D7, you can play it anywhere on the fretboard there. Even up here. Okay. So, wait, I think we can do this. Students, can we go A7? Can we do 4 strums on A7 one more time? Like this? 1, 2, 3, 4. And then let's switch over to D7. Oh, look at that. If I use my middle finger and my ring finger, look how efficient that is for my hand to move to that spot, yeah? Okay. So we give D7 and let's do 4 little strums over here too. I'll take a breath in and we go 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Let's do that one more time. A7, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. And then D7, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now, last but not least, we are going to have an E7 chord. Okay. Now watch this. Take both of your fingers. If you're on D7, why don't you just drop them to the ground? Okay. Or take them both down a a string each. Okay. What we can do with that is if we stay there and then just add in our index finger up to the 1st fret and on the 4th floor, the 4th string, you get a lovely E7 chord. Take your time, give it a couple of strums, and do a little sound check. And then let's strum together 4 times. Here we go. Ready? Take a breath in, and let's hear that lovely E7 chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So, ukulele students, can we do A7 again? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Everybody, let's go to D7. Switch your fingers. Here we go. Take a breath in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice. Drop those fingers down and add 1 to make an E7 chord. And same thing. Let's give 4 little strums here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just like that. Oh, and I have to hear the resolution. So I want to hear that A7 after. Can we just do 1 strum on A7 just to add a period to that end of the sentence there? Feel the resolution. Okay. So students, we come back here. Okay. So if we're strumming this, right, and let's just do downstrokes first, right? All we're going to do is if we start from the beginning here, that means that we're going to strum A7 4 times, continuing A7 for another 4, and etc., etc. When we get over here, there's a D7 chord, so we're going to switch to D7 for four beats, excuse me. And then another 4 beats over here. Then we switch back to A7. Okay? So, and of course the last line has E7 and etc., etc. Let's go ahead and do this, folks. Okay? To the best of your ability, I would love if you'd strum along with me. We're going to go through the 12-bar blues here 2 times through just to kind of hear the form and hear kind of the movement of the chords. We're just going to give simple downstrokes for now, just so we can kind of keep that count. And I'll try to give you as much of a heads up as possible for when we are switching chords. Okay? Any questions before we do jump into it? All right, okay. Everybody grab A7. Let's do it together. Okay? That's about the tempo that we'll move at, the speed that we'll move at. As we're kind of counting in like this, I always like to do a little head check. Yeah? Oh, I'm getting review chord shapes, please. Yes, I'll tell you what, real quick. Okay, check it out. Hey, Tom. We have A7, D7, with the 2 fingers, and almost the same thing. We drop those fingers down and add one to make E7, right? And especially like in this example, like if the E7 is tricky for you, right? As we strum and play through the song, just strum the A7s and you can skip over the E7s, yeah? And then when our fingers, of course, feel more comfortable, please take a chance and try it out. But no worries if it's not falling under your fingers immediately. Okay. You guys ready? We'll do a little head check here. And we'll go 1, 2, 1, 2, purple, green, A7, 2, 3, 4. Then second measure. Then there's that third measure. And then the fourth. Here comes D7. We change D7. 2, 3, 4, D7. Then back to A7. 2, 3, 4, A7. Here's the fun one. E7. We're on green. Then blue, D7. Then A7. Whew, and then E7. Whoa, my goodness, what a fast change. Let's do that again from the top. Measure 1, A7, 2. Take a break a little bit, yeah? 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, and 4. Here comes measure 5, D7 on 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3. Back to A7. E7, 1, 2, 3, D7, 1, 2, 3, A7, 1, 2, 3, E7, 1. All right, one more time, just for fun. Yeah, A7, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we go. And 5, we're on D7. D7, then back to A7. Yeah, nice. A7. Measure 9. Here's the fun part. E7. D7. And A7. E7. And let's resolve together. A7 big on 1. And you can do the J. No. All right, so that's the basic form of the 12-bar blues, okay? Now, the other reason why I wanted to look at this with you folks is that it's going to set a roadmap for Wipeout, okay? Because Wipeout falls basically again on this form. Now, if you are not familiar with the genre, or you're not familiar with the form even more specifically, there's kind of an important element here that I think makes things really easy to organize in our brains, okay? Check this out, right? What if we were to say each line in the 12-bar blues is a phrase? okay? It's a grouping. For example, this is the first quote unquote line, right? Measures 1 through 4, and it's a whole bunch of A7s. The way I like to think of that is that this is representative of the 1 chord, or representative of A7. Now check this out. When we go to the second phrase, interest spikes a little bit, right? We have a new chord here to listen to, okay? But still same thing, 4 measures, right? And this one I like to think of as representative of the 4 chord, that D7, okay? Last but not least, we get to the third phrase, which is this is everyone's favorite, including mine, because this is where it gets to be really interesting, right? The harmony is changing each measure, or the chord is changing each measure. So there's more interest that gets built up here. And you know what's great about this is that you can see this lyrically, okay? If you were to think of a song like Hound Dog, right? As a kind of a rock and roll blues song, right? We'd start off here and go, you ain't nothing but a hound dog, crying all the time. And what's the next lyric, right? You ain't nothing but a hound dog, crying all the time. And then after that it goes, you ain't never had a rabbit, never caught a rabbit, and you ain't no friend of mine, right? And what's great about this is that if we take songs in the 12-bar blues format, right, they will often reflect the same idea, okay? This is a phrase, this is a phrase, and this is a phrase. Or at a minimum, think of this as one section to start practicing, then this as another section to start practicing. And then last but not least, the last 4 measures, okay? Does that make sense? Are there any questions on that? Okay, cool. All right, so ukulele students, please take your left hand. We're going to be using primarily our index, middle, and ring finger here, okay? However, please feel free to use any and all digits that feel comfortable for you, right? One thing that I will recommend at this point, though, is please do choose which ones you think will work. You can always change. Of course, you can always change, okay? But keep that in mind, okay? Because I want to try a little bit of just kind of what I think of as walking around the fretboard, right? I guess if we had 3 legs, I guess, in a sense, okay? So let's do this together. Folks, okay, I'm going to use, again, my index, middle, and ring here. And I want you to look at my fingers here for a second. You see how I'm lining them up all on the 3 frets like this? From the 1st fret, 2nd, and 3rd. Can you do this with me too? Nice, nice. Good. I'm seeing good things here. Nice, nice. Even better, even better. Let your index finger stay in place here as you do this, and let's pick each note. And please, pick however it's comfortable for you. If you're a thumber like me, that's cool, right? If you want to do walking fingers or a mixture of both or use your foot, that's up to you, okay? Now, you're just going to go like this. Can we do that? Yeah. Not terribly musical, I dare say. Well, beauty is in the ear of the beholder, so let me actually shelf that. Okay. Now, if we were to continue walking up the fretboard or up in pitch, what we could do is move on and bring our index finger to fret 4, right? And just utilizing those same 3 fingers to go like this. That's it, right? And if we wanted to keep going up, we could go like that. Now, I'm going to cut you loose for like maybe a minute, okay? And it sounds kind of funny to say this actually, but I want you to try this, okay? I want you to walk all over your instrument, okay? You're going to keep those 3 fingers in line, but please, like literally anywhere on your fretboard, right? Hear what it sounds like. And more importantly for this exercise is feel it underneath your fingers. Feel the strings underneath your fingers. Feel them make the connection to the fretboard, right? As you move up, right, you might notice that the frets get smaller, right? You might notice that the amount of pressure that we need might be different here, depending on our instrument, yeah? But walk around. We'll do another 30 seconds. I know, it's something like out of the Twilight Zone, right? And then sometimes they line up and it's like, ooh, that kind of sounded kind of nice. Let's go. Okay. Nice, nice. And please, please listen to your body as we continue, okay? Especially for a tune like Wipeout, yeah? Because there's a lot of the same motion that we're gonna repeat, yeah? So if your hands start to cramp up or you're feeling a bit tired from playing, please take a break, yeah? Okay. Now, I am gonna have you line up here with me, okay? I'm gonna use my index finger as the guide here and reference point, okay? But all I'm gonna have you do is I'm gonna have you bring that index finger to the 3rd fret of your ukulele, okay? And you know what, since we're here, can we walk there like this? Yeah, very good. Right on that 5th fret. A little wiggle if you feel like it. Okay. Once you have gotten there, right, let's do the same exact thing, but just one string closer to the ground. Okay, so now we're on the A string, but we're still moving from fret 3 to fret 5. Yeah. Once you've gotten that, we will go back up here. Nice. Everybody with me so far? Doing all right? Okay, cool, cool. All right, now watch me here, okay? Index finger is the reference point. I'm gonna move back to the A string where we were. And in fact, can we do that one more time? Like this. Now, watch my hand here. I'm gonna shift position, okay? All I'm gonna do is take all 3 of my fingers and move them up 2 frets to the right, okay? And I'm gonna do the same thing here. I'm gonna go from fret 7, from fret 5, and we often will have a dot, yeah, or a marker on our instrument here, okay? But we're gonna do the same thing, okay? Nice. Okay, so what this gives us, if we think about what we just did, is we kind of worked this idea where we're lining up our fingers like this in 3 different spots, right? We have one here. We have one that's down here. And last but not least, the one we just did, when we move up on the A string and move up like that. Okay, I'm going to cut you loose for another minute here. I would love if you'd maneuver that, right? It doesn't have to necessarily be in that particular order, but I want you to watch yourself move from position to position. Again, the first one being on the 2nd string, the only one that's on the 2nd string. And then we move down to the A string for this next position. And then finally, we just slide that fella up and we're in another position. Okay. Try that a couple times. This is a great time. I want to open it up for questions before we move on to the next thing. If you do have questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments or in the chat, excuse me. All right. Wait a second. Let me borrow your attention here. I want you to relax your hand already. Yeah, let it sit for a little bit. Okay. Wait a second. If we have 3 positions and 3 phrases and 3 chords, I have a feeling that all of those can line up. And I have a feeling that all of those, right, will help us keep track of where we are, right? Because it is one of those, I always like to mention this, maybe at the minimum to make myself feel better, but it's like everybody gets lost when you play music, right? It's going to happen at some point, and that's totally all right. Yeah, I think it's just good to find little strategies to find your way again. And like this, I think is a great thing, because if you miss the first phrase or you miss the first chord, hang out and wait till we can get to the next one, right? Or the next phrase. All right, I got one question here. I've always had trouble with the use of slipping down, or the uke, slipping down. Yes. Okay, so number 1, right? Yeah, it definitely is sometimes a little bit of a typewriter, yeah? Right? Kind of have to, like, you click a couple notes and you gotta pull it back up and you gotta pull it back up, right? Okay, so just on a quick side note here, right? Use your right forearm to brace the instrument up against you. Yeah, it will slowly move down, but with this, there's a little bit of extra support. Yeah. The other thing is you can kind of move to the side and definitely move it around your body and find a way it's comfortable for you. And then last but not least, I will mention that a strap is quite lovely. Yeah, I don't have a strap on this one, unfortunately, but yes, exactly. A strap is wonderful. It just takes the pressure off of your hands so you can freely move. And on a side note, one of the things I noticed in my playing, after the first year of using the strap, my finger picking got way better, more articulate and more subtle, which is really nice, just because I don't have to hold as much, yeah? So this arm can move all over the place if it wants to, which is another class for another time, but that is another fun thing to explore. Playing at different parts of your fretboard. Okay, good question. All right, so, okay, students, I would love if you would repeat after me. Okay, I want you to think about the way that we're grouping up those sections, and we're going to start off with the first phrase. So let's do this and this, all the fun buttons. Okay, all I'm going to have you do is you're going to kind of keep in mind and visualize your fingers lining up like this. However, I'm going to have you let go. We're going to need that open string to start us off with. And all I'm going to have you do, actually, is I just want you to play the open E, and then your 3 notes that you picked already, like this. Can you do that? So you're going open, and then you're adding in that motion, and keep in mind the position that you're in. Kind of almost sounds like the song a little bit already, right? Okay. So, take a moment, right? 15 seconds, right? Try that. Awareness is part of the game here. It's a large part of the game. So as you continue to practice, right, just be aware of your senses. What are you feeling underneath your fingers? Right? Again, right? I always like the one I mentioned already, like, do you feel the fretboard? Do you feel the wood of the fretboard under your fingers? It's kind of lovely. Yeah? Do you feel the tension of the strings? Okay, so what we have is this so far, right? We have open, and we walk up. I bet if we even finished the class here and you kept noodling for the next 30 minutes, I bet you would figure it out even too, right? Because it's slowly starting to take shape as we can hear it like that. And in fact, the next step that I'm going to have you do, when we're on this note with our ring finger, let's just give that note a little bit of extra love there, and we're going to pick that note 2 more times. So what we have is this. And the 2 extra times. Okay, I won't speak over my ukulele this time. Okay, and we go. Now that definitely sounds like Wipeout. Yeah? 15 seconds, folks. Try it on your own. I'm a big advocate for playing things slowly and playing less things. Or let me rephrase that, right? Practicing less things, yeah? But a little bit more focused, yeah? So please take your time as you go through it, because you're going to start to notice a lot of great details as we take our time when we practice, yeah? Okay. But all right, let's finish off the phrase. We have... right? And all we're going to do from here, this is where we're going to have to kind of intervene a little bit. You're going to release your fingers, except your index. Our index finger really is such a strong foundation for us today. Not only is it guiding us from position to position, but it's going to give us stability. Yeah? So what we're going to do there is move to our index finger. We're going to pick that fellow one time. And then last but not least, you are going to finish how we started. And you're going to pick one open. Okay, so it's just 2 notes that we're adding on. We're adding on the 3rd fret and then the open. That's it. Okay, so in total we have this. Now there's definitely the song. All right, 15 seconds. Can you add those 2 extra notes there? And move at your own speed. Yeah. Hey, and I'll tell you what, if you're feeling a little bit sassy there, or feeling a little adventurous, right? Try it 2 times. Try it back to back. And again. And etc., etc. I'll give you guys another 15 seconds. Try it again. Try it again. Try it again. Nice. Why don't you wrap up your take there? Now, how does that feel? Thumbs up? Thumb in the middle? Thumb down, right? Thumb down. Or 2 thumbs up? Hey, I like the spirit. There you go. Nice. Well, very good. Well, very good. Okay. If that feels comfortable for you folks, right? And the reason why we're spending a lot of time here, right, is that music is full of patterns, right? In fact, we love patterns, generally speaking, as a species. Now, what if we do like literally the same thing, but in our 3 positions? Huh. Okay, wait. What does that mean? What does that mean? Let's take a look. Right? That means that I start off here. Right? And maybe we'll do that a couple times, or maybe specifically 4. Right? Like 4 measures. Okay? And we could do this. One more. Now, I'm going to switch positions here. And what I mean by that, really, in this case, is just doing the exact same thing on the A string. Right? So we go. Right? And we do that exactly 2 times. Right? Does that kind of make sense, folks? Yeah? And you know what? It even works when we go to the next position, when we go up here. We start off with the open, just like before. But instead, I'm climbing up on fret 5, 6, and 7, yeah? like that. Okay. So, same thing. In fact, let's give it about, we'll do 30 seconds here. Maybe even a minute, okay? All I want you to do is play that phrase in the 3 different positions, right? Or play, of course, again, what's comfortable for you. So if that's here, and that's where you want to be, and that's where you're comfortable, that's great. Because the thing is, right, is you're developing the skills for all 3 of them by practicing one. However, it is kind of nice, yeah, to practice all of them, because then you can kind of get a little refreshment for your ear. It does like variety. Yeah. And this is actually a fantastic little spot there to stop if you folks have any questions. Yeah. Okay. Nice. Here, I'll switch over. Nice. I like what I'm seeing. I like what I'm seeing here. Nice. Cool. And 1 minute right there. Perfect. Very nice. Okay. So students, our goal, right, is to be comfortable with one of those phrases. Again, to stretch it out into all 3 of them. Okay. And right, like I mentioned, right, all of this is going to kind of line up for you. So the sheets, the sheet that we looked at earlier, actually, let me put it up real quick. It's going to be a great guideline for us, right? Because check this out, okay? What if I were to think of this, that first one, as being representative of A, right? That means that I'm going to start off here by playing that 4 times total, just like I was mentioning earlier. What if we think of the second phrase as being D, or D7 in this case, right? When we're moved down. That's perfectly going to line up here. Okay. Same thing here. There's more A7s as we return here, so it's actually we're going to go back to where we were, back to the first phrase. And I'm actually going to pause this right here, because what I'm going to do is play it for you. Actually, and of course, if you want to play it with me, please do. Okay. We're going to go through these 8 measures here, 2/3 of the whole entire song, just in 2 different positions. Okay. Again, play what you can. Okay. I'm going to be moving a little bit faster so we can feel it kind of moving in time here. Okay. So I'm going to count us off like this. I'm going to go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And that's where we're going to start, is we're going to start off on the and of 3. So the moment I say 3, a good way to think about it is jump in the pool with me. Okay. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And etc. Okay. Again, play what you can, because it's going to move by pretty quickly, okay? All right. Shall we give it a go? All right. Here we go. We'll go 1. We'll go a little bit slower, actually. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and first time. Second time. Third time. Here's the change. Move down a string. We do that again. And back to A. And relax. And then take a big deep breath if you need to. Let's do that again. I think that's actually a really good spot right there. Is everybody doing all right? 8, 7. Okay, here we go. We'll go same speed. Around there. Let's go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and it's kind of a balancing act. 4. Here's a change. Switch strings. Back up. Hey, nice. Nice job. Nice job. Fantastic. Fantastic. You know what? Yeah, just for fun. Yeah, we got to do that last one, yeah? Whew, and this is the tricky one too. I remember learning this and spending kind of some time just on those last 4 measures there because it moves kind of quickly, yeah? But starting from E7, we are going to go up the fretboard to fret 5 there, and that's where we're going to do that climb again, okay? And actually, I'm going to play it for you one time first, and then we'll do it together, same speed and same count. I'm going to go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Switch. Whew. Switch. Switch. And we're at the E7. Whew, that one's a little tricky. But, as my pa always says, no guts, no glory. Let's take a leap. Let's jump. No be shame, right? Let's jump into the pool here. Okay? Try and play as much of it as you can, right? And of course, above all else, please enjoy it and please have fun. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and switch. Whew. One more time. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Switch. 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 All right. Yep. Oh, I'm seeing some, we're looking on the tips of our fingers there. Hopefully you have those little indentations on the tips of your index, middle, and ring finger, particularly your index finger. That is a good sign that we are getting pressure and making contact with the string and the fretboard. Yeah. However, please do take a little bit of a break. You give them a little rub there. Tell them they're doing a good job because they are, they're working hard, right? Now, I'm going to play it one more time from the top. And actually, you know what? I'm going to get a close-up here. Okay? And this is just going to be for the video and for when you turn back, if you want to play along with it. We'll try to timestamp it somewhere too so you can jump back to it. Okay? But this is going to be the 3 phrases in motion from the top. Okay? And of course, if you want to play along, please do. Please do. Okay? Oh, here. Where did I go? There I am. So we go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Switch. Switch. Fun one. Switch. Switch. Switch again. Almost missed it there. Gotta have that resolution there too. Kind of an E7. Okay. Check out those hands. Again, it's a little can kind of be a little bit of a toughie, right? Like especially at the end where you just like switching positions. But I can safely assure you, and I can well, I can't promise you because your emotions are your own. But one of the things I can safely say is that it is so satisfying once you get it all in motion. Yeah. And again, today we have to move through it kind of quickly, right? Just to get the gist of it. But when you practice, I highly encourage you to slow it down like a lot, especially that last one. Switch, right? And etc. etc. Take your time, you know? And savor it. That's how I like to think of it. Savor learning something, you know? Hey, nice. Come into a t-shirt. No, I was kidding. Okay. Oh, goodness. Always the time. Okay, I want to show you just one last thing. This is just for your own reference, okay? This is the sheet that's coming out to you, folks. Okay, let's take a look. Aside from the magnificent penmanship that you can see here, what this is just a little reference sheet for you folks, yeah? If what we were doing, gets lost or whatever the case is, or we come back to it tomorrow, whatever the case is, right? This is a great way to kind of reference it, okay? It's broken down into 3 phrases that we kind of looked at, right? Again, right? Here we can kind of visualize this as, oh no, we don't want to make it change. Okay. Is this over here? This is going to occupy the first bit of the song, right? The first 4 measures right here. Oh, and look at that. I already see a typo. Okay. Then, as we kind of continue on, this over here is the next part, right? We can see that we're on our 2 different strings here. And then last but not least is the ending over here where it gets really tricky, yeah? And I just kind of put a little dotted line down the middle over here for you to just kind of break it up when you're practicing. Again, phrase by phrase is a great way to do it, okay? And then, of course, right, if you're not familiar with tablature, right, this is just basically tabs on the E and the A string, or the 2 strings closest to the ground, and those numbers just represent where we are on the fretboard, right? So like, for example, since this is the first one, we start off on the 2nd string, and we only got 2 lines here, so that's how we'll tell. And we follow those numbers, right? We start off with an open, and then we climb up. We play those 2 extra 5s, and then walk back down. Yep. And then et cetera, okay? All right. Any questions on anything that we covered today? Or not? I mean, it could be something else too. I mean, I'm an open book. No. Oh, okay. So first question here. Aw, see, that makes me so satisfied to hear that. Question is, what about those green dots on that page? Yeah? Well, the other thing that I put there, sorry, don't mean to make you dizzy there, okay? But if we look at this first phrase, I also have the count up here up top, okay? So, for those of you who, are familiar with notation and whatnot, or counting out rhythms, these basically pluses are going to represent ands, and then the 4s, or the numbers, are going to represent our downbeats. So that green dot is just where the 1 is, yeah? And just in short, the 1 is going to be a great reference point for you in general. I mean this both note-wise, like in a melody like this. That also applies, of course, to rhythm. It applies to chords, and et cetera, okay? But for me, I ground myself with the 1. So for me, I like to know where this is at all times. And as you read over the sheet, right, just as you pass over that green dot, just take note of it. There's nothing that you necessarily have to force, but that's just going to be where the 1 is, okay? And that is coming out to you. I'll make that little adjustment and send that out today. But okay. Hey, anytime. Hey, that's awesome, Marlon. Yes, there actually totally is. Totally is. Yeah. And then that's wait, let me think about this real quick. I don't want to open up a whole big can of worms for you folks right now, but I tell you what, okay? Think about where the chord is and think about where this melody is intersecting. And in fact, that's where that one is going to be super important. Okay? Because, please, I don't do this now. Like, take a break, right? Like, play the song. I'm going to come back to it later on. But it can be a fun exercise, yeah? To maybe do something like this. Wait, and if you think about it, wait. That might be where the green dot is, yeah? So keep in mind the one. Keep in mind the one. That'll ground you for sure. Yes, definitely. We will definitely get these charts out for you. Definitely, for you to for follow up and for practice. Yeah. And that cool way to learn scales. Absolutely. This is definitely a great way to do scales too, and a way to think about harmony. Yeah. That's where oftentimes it's like, hey, I don't know if you folks are, well, for me, I should say, is I love jazz, and that's at the end of the day what I enjoy playing the most. But what I tell most of my students is that if you want to learn how to play jazz, first study the blues. Just this, right? We can get a lot of the core elements that still apply, late game, many years of playing jazz kind of thing, like you'll reap benefits from what we talked about today and by investigating the genre further. Yeah. It's a great way to do scales too. Yeah. Definitely. Maybe we got to do a class on scales. Hey, we got to Awesome. Alrighty. Awesome. I don't often hear that. I'm not gonna teach at all these ukulele festivals and different camps and whatnot. And usually scales is kind of like almost like a dirty word. Like nobody wants to talk about scales. But they're so cool. There's so many different things. It's like you get like a whole new alphabet each time that you go through another scale in a sense, right? Well, anyway, I'll get off my box. But they're really fun, and I'm glad that you folks are interested in scales. Oh, awesome. Well, thank you, Margot. I think that's going to wrap us up, actually. Gosh, that hour just zipped on by there. But I hope you folks learned something. I hope you folks enjoyed your time, if not, or in conjunction with. And we hope to see you around again. Again, thank you for taking time out of your folks' busy schedules to be here to learn how to play Wipeout. And hopefully we've set our sights to where we're going to be going next. Please do keep in mind, hey, awesome. Please do keep in mind that there are still tons of classes, in the UKC Academy. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Matt Dahlberg is teaching later this week. And if you have not taken a lesson from Matt, you should do it. Matt's a fantastic teacher and a gentle human and soul, and he's just such a lovely person to learn from. And he's got great insights too. So please go ahead and check him out. Yeah. Big mahalo too to everybody who has donated as well in supporting the UKC. We very much appreciate it, and it's through your folks' love and support that an organization like this can stay afloat and provide the good that it does. So thank you very much, everybody, for all your love. Mahalo. And folks, until the next time, remain compassionate and have fun.